Hey everyone, it's Alex and Derek here, and welcome to another episode of Virtual Chats. And today on the show, we are pleased to welcome Derek. You want to finish it off?
Old Drake from Evile.
All that. Thanks so much for joining us, giving us some time out of your day. So that thanks for chatting with us, man.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So Derek, you want to start things off?
So, all one thing I wanted to ask you, I'm sure you're probably going to get quite a bit of this because the new album is out now, or I
No,
will be out
it's not out
soon.
yet.
Will be out soon. Sorry, and but obviously Alex and I have heard it, and we both high compliments. We both really liked the album. So the one thing that I kind of wanted to ask you about the stylistic change because it's quite different from the previous records. It still maintains the heaviness and but a lot more melody than a lot of the previous records. What was behind the change and why now? Like, what made you want to do this now?
So it was a few things. It was the first thing we brought out Hell Unleashed, and it was pretty much 85% speed and aggression. And when it came to sitting down and doing the next album, we just didn't want to do the same thing again. We didn't want to release another album exactly like it. So we thought, let's just do the polar opposite, like 85% slower, 15% extremely fast. And the other thing that started was whenever we play like festivals or we play to people who've never seen Evile before, when we play the slower songs like Cult or We Are About to Die, you see everyone's head going and everyone getting into it. That's not to say the fast stuff isn't good, but we thought we need some songs that are a bit more bouncy and groovy. And so that led us to look at our back catalogue and say, our songs are either really fast or mid-paced. There's nothing here or here. There's nothing in between those speeds. So we looked at all the tempos and we're like, we've never done these kind of tempos before. So in my opinion, there's no stylistic change. The only change is the tempos. It's still my riffs. It's still the same approach. And this time around, I've learned to sing a bit more healthily. So I could always sing, but I couldn't do it to keep my voice healthy. It would just always blow up. So yeah, that's how The Unknown came about.
Yep.
I see.
For sure. And you talk about the change in your vocals, which we both like think your vocals are like amazing on this album. And right earlier on, I both of us saw this video on your Instagram where you were talking about working with Melissa Cross to to improve your vocals. Can you like maybe share some of the techniques that she shared with you to like for you to improve your vocals? Like, what did she teach?
Ironically, I blew my voice today. So a lot of it can't be covered in 10 minutes. But there's a lot of breath support. So most people, when you say take a deep breath, they go, or something with their belly or something, and it's not. And it's about breathing in to here to your lungs, and you have some muscles on the back of your rib cage that if you take in air the right way, they will expand. And what that's doing is you can't control your diaphragm, but that it's attached to your ribs. So the thing you can do with your ribs is hold that air in. It's kind of like a tank that you top up and only use a bit now and then. And I can't explain that further without an hour, but
Yeah.
that really helped. Instead of just a deep breath, then and then singing all the air out, you can kind of hold all the air there, and that really helped control airflow. So that was my first step in a lot of help from her. So yeah, there's quite a lot, but it's hours and hours of lessons and stuff. It took me a long time to grasp a few things as well, so it'll be difficult for me to explain.
Yeah, for sure. And that there's a reason why she's known as the Zen of screaming and all that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
going back to the album real quick. personally, for me, one of my favorite tracks on the album is When Mortal Coil is Shed. Um, because I think this is like for me, when I hear that song, it seems like it has vibes of like In Memoriam, but you kind of took it to the next level. Would you say that was probably maybe the most one of the more challenging songs to do because it's the biggest song on the album?
Yeah, it was definitely the most challenging. It's I remember when I really got into starting writing the stuff for the new album, that's I wrote that initial clean idea and I thought that's great. I have to do something with that. And that was just it was maybe a year and a half of work from that one riff, just constantly listening and changing and making everything right. And what I basically do is I write a seed of a song and then I put it on in my car as I drive to work and listen to it 50, 60 times until I'm so familiar with it that something jumps out like it needs this or that needs to get deleted or something. So I guess it's quite obsessive, but that's just how it happened. And it took me a long time to get it exactly how it is. I think even before we went into the studio, it wasn't finished. It was the last week where it was like I made a drastic change and it was like it finally makes sense and it was finished then.
Yeah, for sure. So like I personally we personally can't wait for everyone to hear the song. I know it's going to be like you said, it's going to be the next single.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing I tried to do on it is this is just a nerdy musician thing, but the pre-chorus and the chorus in the song, my goal, this is like my own personal goal, was to try and make the pre-chorus the main chorus at the end of the song. So if you listen to the song, you
Yep.
have the pre-chorus and then the clean chorus, and it does that twice. The whole middle happens, and then when it comes out of it, the main chorus is the pre-chorus then, and it flips, and that it took me so long to figure out how to do that. So that's just my little personal journey.
We love hearing about that. We're all musicians here, so
Oh,
we
brilliant.
love like
Excellent.
Yeah,
geeking out about that stuff.
we do that very often. Yeah,
Excellent.
we actually, Alex and I were once in the same band. Now we play in different bands, but we definitely have moments like that, like basically how you just explained.
Excellent. Yeah, it is nerdy, but I love it.
uh so obviously, well, I mean, I'm sure you'd be hard pressed if I'd kind of be hard pressed myself if I didn't ask a little bit of like older questions about, like, I guess the beginning of Evile and I guess compared to now. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, when you look back on the beginnings of the band and compared to now, I mean, obviously it's been quite a journey. Like, how do you look back on I guess the past, like the beginnings of the band compared to now?
That's a really good question. I it's difficult because we've gone through so much. Like
Hmm.
we, um, yeah, when we started, we were just well, we weren't kids, we were a bit older, but we were just having fun. So it was all fun, and then we got signed. It was still fun, and then the second album came. It was like, oh shit, we've got to write an album for a label now. Then that was stressful, and then it just kind of took off. And then the third album, but we also lost our bassist while on tour,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that just kind of threw everything off the tracks. And but then we were kind of riding this thing that was like, well, we're gonna carry on. We have to carry on, especially for Mike. And then it was all great, but it also had that kind of undertone of how horrible that was. And then it went great, and then it because of the nature of the music industry, as you'll understand, it's not an ideal line of work to be in,
No.
especially when you're getting older and there's bills to pay and you balance are you going to get a job or do music, and one of them has money and the other doesn't. So it just got to that point for me where I had to leave. I had to get a job. I had to do the normal life things that I never did because I 24 hours a day was Evile for me.
Yeah.
Like emailing, writing, everything. And so when I look back, it's great and it was awesome. You know, we got to tour with like Megadeth and Exodus, and but it always had that underlying, like, I don't want to say like, there's not a word for it I'm trying to say, but it was like, oh fuck's sake, like I wish we could make a living at doing this because I want to put that amount of time into it. And because that became so evident, it just got a little sad, you know. We still do it now because we love it,
Yeah.
like all musicians. But I just wish it could be a financially viable avenue to go down. That's all.
For sure, yeah. So what kind of led you back into the what made you return to the band? Like what made you think I got to come back?
I think it was like I'd had a child and I had a job. I'd like settled down and I was happy. Past tense. No. Um, and I was speaking to Matt on the phone, and he was telling me like, oh, the guy who replaced me was called Piers, and he said, oh, Piers hasn't been to rehearsal a few times. And I was like, oh, how many times? Well, like 6. So when did you last see him? Well, it was maybe 3 months ago. Like, what? Why? So he just disappeared.
Wow.
And I joked with him like, well, get me back in the band then. And then I thought about it and thought, you know what? Why not? I can just do it as a hobby on the side of work. It's fun, and it'd be great to do it again. So I did it to try it out, and it was great.
Yeah.
But then more went wrong.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, I came back into it because I remember it being fun, and it was fun. That's the main reason. It is good. It's ideal for what we do. It's I just wish we could do more because like festivals are our main thing we can do because you can fly in, play, and fly home.
Yeah.
I wish we could tour because it's just great. You know, it's great living on the road, but also I've got kids now. This isn't metal at all, but I miss my kids when I've gone. Like, I'm away for a week, and I'm just like I just want to go home. That's not against the band or anything.
Of course.
I like being at home, you know.
Of course.
Absolutely. I mean, Alex and I don't have, neither of us are married yet, so maybe that day will come eventually. But as far as for yourself, what would you say is a song of yours that you wrote, be it solo, like the time where when you left the band, or even when you were in the band prior to, or even just on the new album? Like what would you say a favorite song or songs are, and why?
Like what ones are like maybe the most proud of writing or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Well, I'd say I'm really, really proud of the song Tomb on the Skull album.
Great song.
That was another one like
yeah.
this one. It took me a long time. Mortal Coils as well, and the new one. I'm really proud of that. In Memoriam, in all the ballads, I'm really proud of. But I'm proud of it all. But those are the songs that really hit me, and I think they're difficult to play as well. We haven't played Mortal Coils live or in rehearsal yet, so Memoriam's always difficult to play live. But in a good way, it's a struggle to get through sometimes, but it's for a reason, so it's always good to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ones like Cult as well. I'd say I'm really proud of Hell Unleashed on the last album. It was just ferocious, just punch you in the face, done. That I was really proud of that one.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I just want to say one thing. Like we were just on the topic of In Memoriam on there. I can't even remember if I mentioned to you the last time we chatted, but it's In Memoriam for me. Like when it came out on when Serpent's Teeth came out in 2011, and that same year, like earlier in the spring, I lost my grandfather, and it was a really tough time for me and my family. So, like when Serpent's Teeth came out and In Memoriam was on there just a few months later, every time I listen to that song, it like really hits home for me because you know what I was going through at the time. You know, In Memoriam, tribute to Mike, and so I just wanted to say thank you for that song because it really got me through a tough time. And every time I still listen to it today, I always get chills because of, when it came out and what it means. And it really hit home for me.
No, you're welcome. The same with the new album, the When Mortal Call is Shed. That is a song for anyone who's lost anyone. Like the reason the song is what it is for the similar reasons. Like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you lost someone, but there's still a part of your life. It still affects your life. You still wish they were there, or you wish you could go back to then. Just everything that comes with that. So it's something that still affects me today, and that's what the song is for.
Yep, for sure. And right before we move on, we were just talking about Mike. Happy belated birthday to Mike as well.
Yes, yeah, that just passed. Yeah, thank you.
One thing that appears on your Wikipedia page, all that I wanted to ask you that I thought was, it says at your first show, quote, an audience member had a brick thrown at their face by area locals, which kind of made me chuckle a little bit because like it's kind of worded very funny. But can you provide some context on that?
So it's our own version of Wikipedia fact or fiction from Loud.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So it's a truth, definitely. It's the first show we played as we were a covers band called Metal Militia.
Yeah,
obviously, and it was at this it was like a hall where I think the local school got all their kids like to have a night out where they could all like drink for the first time, and like, well, maybe they weren't supposed to be drinking, but they were. And they were all there like having fun, and maybe they were like 15, 16, but it was in a really rough area of this town called Halifax in the UK. And there must have been some overflow of kids going out of the venue into the streets and stuff. And someone from in that area just bricked someone in the head. So that person came into the venue, into the toilets to like clean up, but blood was everywhere in the toilets, like all over the floor, up the wall from, and I think ambulances came and everything, but it was pretty metal.
It was raining blood.
Yeah, literally.
Much.
So I was like, is this what it's like? This is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, like if you maybe like be busy with like a bunch of interviews for the album, but I thought we maybe just have a little bit of fun and ask some some fun questions, just so make it a fun chat and all that. So a little bit like this or that kind of thing. So
sure, yeah, cool.
Fun lightning round kind of style. Do you prefer CDs, vinyl, or cassette when it comes to physical stuff?
I'd probably say CDs. I'm not going to pretend to say vinyl sounds better.
Being English, I have to ask for you. I have to ask this: what you guys call football, soccer, or rugby?
I'd say soccer. I loved it growing up. So
you a big Huddersfield guy, I assume.
I was, but music took over football. So when I was younger, I supported Manchester United. I think everyone does when they're growing up.
Yes, yeah. Me too.
But also Liverpool, because I got a kit of Liverpool's. I think in 94, it was like a candy one. Then, yeah, I liked Huddersfield, but it was mainly Liverpool and Manchester United. Yeah.
Okay.
Your favorite video game?
Oh, I think Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PS1, or Final Fantasy 7, or this is really hard. Resident Evil 1 or 2, or Silent Hill 1.
PT, right? Silent Hill?
Say again?
PT Silent Hill?
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah, I got to play that, but no, the original Silent Hill on PS1 was my favorite.
Nice. Derek?
This is not exactly the same kind of question that Alex has, but like, are there any bands that you've heard, like particularly for like thrash, because I play in a thrash band, like that you've heard like in recent years that like kind of wowed you?
Yeah, there's been a few. I obviously love the Havoc, the Warbringer. There's a band in the UK called Tortured Demon.
I know that.
I don't want to say they're young because it shouldn't be about them being young, but for their age, they're really good. They've just brought a new album out as well.
I should check that out.
Yeah, they're cool. But honestly, I don't have a lot of time to check stuff out. I hear stuff and go, oh, they're really good. And then 5 minutes later, I won't remember what band it is. So I have, it's great. But I don't know who it is.
That's fine. Yeah, I understand.
Do you prefer action, horror, or comedy?
Horror, 100%.
Nice.
And action, but mostly horror, yeah.
Are you mainly a morning person or a night owl?
Night. I hate the morning. A lot.
Okay, I'll ask one more. Ready for the tough one? Enter the Grave or Infected Nations?
Grave.
I kind of figured he would pick that.
I have. It's not a dislike of Nations, but because it was the album that we had to sit down and say, we're on a label now, we have to write some songs. I think we overwrote the songs. Like, they're really technical, they're really clever, and it was like, oh, let's try this. Wow, yeah, cool. And I would change some things on that album, but it's kind of, that's where we were. But I wish I would have just like took my foot off the gas a bit.
Yeah. Derek and I, we were actually chatting about like, if we were ask you this, the question about Grave or Nations, like I was telling Derek, like, I'm pretty sure he's going to pick Enter the Grave because it's your first album. They say bands have their entire life to write the first album. And then when the second album comes out, the pressure's on, and then that's when you start like thinking about it a little bit more. But the first album, you're like, all guns blazing, you do whatever you want.
That's a great song, by the way.
What's that?
That's a great song, by the way. All Guns Blazing by
Yeah,
Priest.
Yeah.
But also, like, I mean, you guys worked with Flemming Rasmussen, who famously produced Ride the Lightning on Enter the Grave. So, I mean, I'm sure that you guys being quite young at the time must have been, holy shit, we're working with this guy who worked with Metallica.
Yeah, like we flew over there and he picked us up in his car and the guitars didn't fit. I was like, great.
I know that all too well. I've got pretty big guitar cases.
Yeah, there you go. But we got there, walking down the hall, there's like Metallica gold discs all down the hallway, and there's the desk that they recorded Lightning and Puppets through, and like when I'm tracking a rhythm guitar, and I fuck up, he's like, James wouldn't have done that. It's like, oh, great. Cheers.
Right.
But it was fun, yeah.
Are you guys still in touch with Flemming?
Yeah, now and then, just casual messages like, hi, how's it going? But
I have to ask you one quick thing about working with Flemming, a guy like Flemming and all that. And you don't have to reveal the number, but and I can cut this out, but I'm just curious to know, was the budget hefty?
No, it was not. He did it because he really liked it. We even joked with Eric. We emailed them saying, I think they said, who should we get to produce it? And me or Matt replied with, why not Flemming Rasmussen, lol. And they went, okay, cool. We're like, no, we were joking. So they emailed him, sent him some of the demos, and he emailed back saying, yeah, let's do it.
That's amazing.
And we were like, oh, we were joking, but cool.
That is amazing.
That is, yeah.
Because normally when you think of a guy of his stature and his resume, you would immediately think that this is probably going to be expensive as hell.
Yeah, well, that's why we were joking. Like, we don't want you to ask him.
Yeah. All right. So to close things off, then we'll let you go. You want to talk about the touring plans for the new record? I know you got like a couple of festivals in Spain, Lithuania, and a UK tour towards the end of the year. But anything else in the cards that hasn't been announced yet?
Touring is difficult, as again you'll probably know. It's so expensive now, especially to get over to North America. Like for Hell Unleashed, we tried to do a tour in North America, and we were already in the red before we'd even left the country. So it was just we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
At the moment, festivals are the only thing that we can viably do. We fly in, play, get out.
Yeah.
So we're just trying everything we can to get around the costs of everything. And I think I really want to come over and play Jamie Jasta's festival. And he's revived
Oh,
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Yeah, I'd love to play that and like do like 2 weeks of shows over there leading up to it or something. So we're trying that, and I hope it'll work.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, hopefully.
he booked like a bunch of bands that are like within your guys' realms as far as like stature. Like he booked Angela Sabatrita, which I could see like both of you guys are like within the same kind of level, if you will, and as far as touring goes. So, but like I'm pretty sure because I heard it was a big success. So hopefully he can bring it back next year and he can invite you guys. So that'd be like a good maybe step in that direction.
I hope so.
Yeah, for sure. So Jamie, if you're watching this, get on it.
Yeah, get on it, Jasta.
Exactly. All right. Also, we just want to say thank you so much for your time and congrats on the new record. It's amazing, and we wish you all the best going forward with the shows coming up and everything else. So thank you for your time, man. It's great to talk.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and hopefully we can chat again soon sometime.
That would be awesome.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Cheers, guys.
We'll Take care.
Bye.
Bye.